So we are now just a couple of days out from Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1 to debut in theaters technically on July 11th. That's going to crush and completely pause the box office results for Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. Where it stands right now, it's around the range of 150 million worldwide, which really is not impressive all for Disney and Lucasfilm as of this point. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get into what's going on with Bob Iger. Now, the thing about Bob Iger is that we know that his role and status of CEO of Disney is literally on the line. It's already tarnished as we see it. You know, he has had multiple failures throughout 2023. You know, don't get me started with the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. But prior to that, we had Elemental. We had the Little Mermaid box office results not meeting their full expectations, to be specific. And now we have Indy 5. And the upcoming Marvel's film, which is definitely going to be a bigger fail than this, I believe. And everything moving onwards is going to be a very big challenge. Now, one thing very surprising about Bob Iger is that he seems like he's beginning to take a stance on trying to save his image over at Disney and to really come across as more personable and more responsible for what's been happening over at Disney. And in my opinion, it's not genuine. It's really just a way to save his status as CEO and where he stands currently. So let's get into it. Now, with Bob Iger currently in a phase of panic, of course, over at Disney in an attempt to tame the Disney boycott that ignited after Indy 5's failure and Elemental, he recently addressed the ongoing box office collapse for Dial of Destiny and delivered an apology involving the film's performance. We here at Disney want to thank everyone who has checked into our latest film, The Dial of Destiny, before we put all eyes on Haunted Mansion. However, though analyzing on most recent box office projections, I wanted to sincerely apologize to the entire community that supports this franchise for overestimating our box office returns and the rate of returns for this film created by Mr. Mangold. We fully own up to our mistake of overestimating our 1 billion box office milestone goal, as it now appears it has become very unlikely that we will be obtaining said goal. We still have high hopes for other scenarios such as the Marvels and Wish to perform on a record level with our proper marketing strategies to pull through. Now, let me just pause here for a second, guys. Now, the thing about Bob Iger, you can tell that he is getting very much panicky and very frightened about what's looming with Top Gun, or should I say Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, that is going to be as successful as Top Gun, if not maybe more. I believe that this is really their big moment where they realize that, they are facing their own damnation between what's happening with Mission Impossible and what's also going to be coming for the Marvels that's going to serve as another box office failure on Disney's part. Tom Cruise is really saving the day for cinema, in my opinion, and he's really beginning to show the fans, what can happen when you pay attention to what the fans want on the big screen. Moving on. Iger goes on to continue. Regarding the latest Indiana Jones film, it was most likely our best option to have thought through with a better strategy to promote the latest installment on the marketing, and though we don't blame the creators or the cast and the crew for the lower than expected returns, it mainly has come to our realization, having to do with our marketing plan all along, that did not fully succeed as we originally thought it would. Alright guys, once again, I want to say something here about Iger, is that he's casting full blame now on the marketing strategy rather than the storytelling, the script writing, those like James Mangold, Kathleen Kennedy, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge that contributed to the story, and he is putting full blame on basically the marketing of this film. This is a scapegoat, nothing more. This is nothing more than a scapegoat that has nothing to do with a person specifically, but a strategy. So he's using a strategy as a scapegoat instead of putting full blame on Kathleen Kennedy, on James Mangold, etc., etc. And that to me is just very lazy, it's a cop-out, and not just that, it shows that you're irresponsible while claiming that you are responsible, which is also very two-faced of Mr. Iger. I always like to call him Bob Igerberg, because he is just as disastrous as an iceberg hitting the Titanic. That's how he is with Disney. He is a disaster. He needs to be replaced. He needs to be taken over by somebody that's more responsible on a genuine level. And the problem, a big source of this problem, is that we need better board members, because they too are a big part of the issue for allowing Iger to do this until at least Marvel's and Wish, because that's basically their firing plan. They want to get rid of Bob Iger unless he fails with the Marvels and Wish. Once those two fail, they want him out officially. I don't know why they're waiting. It's only going to create more damage as they go along, but that's on them. Moving on. Alright? Further, he elaborates, I take full responsibility for making those overestimate claims, and that may have hurt our strategy for getting the film out there without using the right tools at play. Moving forward, we would like to take this experience and move it on to failed strategies to create more success rates in the future. It is our goal to learn from our mishaps to continuing moving forward, and we all thank everyone for taking their time with our 5th indie film. Really, Bob Iger, your 5th indie film? More like your 1st indie film, let's be honest here. So, again, it's kind of funny how they like to say it's their 5th movie when this is really Disney's 1st Indiana Jones film. When you look at it like this, guys, I mean, let's be very honest about this, is that Bob Iger is pretty much a franchise killer just as much as Kathleen Kennedy. They are both to blame. You know, we can't point one finger at one person at this time, or nor should we ever have. It's always Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, and specific members of the board that are loyal to Kathleen Kennedy and her vision of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, etc. And what's even all the more disastrous, and we've gone over this before lightly just yesterday, and as it turns out, Kathleen Kennedy does have a very big impact on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, since she is a very dear friend of Kevin Feige, and she is whispering ideas into his mind, kind of like Scarlet Witch, you know, kind of controlling his mind there. Literally, that's a big reason why Marvel has taken a downhill. It's not just Kevin Feige, but he is actually taking a lot of ideas from Kathy Kennedy as a dear friend of his and throwing it into Marvel. We'll be talking about that a little bit later throughout this week. There's a lot of bombshell developments surrounding all of that I think is going to change your perspective on why the MCU has been a little bit flatlined. Now, the thing about Bob Iger is that he is in a constant shakeup with the board. He's trying to tame the Disney boycott with the parks, with Disney Plus, with the theatrical releases of the upcoming movies like Haunted Mansion, The Marvels, Wish, and more, as well as the MCU films. So guys, I would like to hear your take on all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.